For 3 years, Hagler saw Hearns in his future as far back as 1982. They were scheduled to meet, but a Hearns hand injury intervened.
I'm not going in there look for injury. And when I go in there, I want to be in tip-top condition and great health.
Finally, the fight was canceled. Hagler was livid.
And he was going to make $2 million. He turned down $2 million. In the first beginning, Ray, he started complaining about his little baby Pinky. You know how many people will give $1 million for that little baby Pinky? They cut that thing off.
And come April 15, in 3 rounds, I would be the greatest.
And Tommy said, I'm going to be laying down there and his hands are going to be raised. I feel almost the same way, but when the smoke clears, because I'm coming out smoking, as you know, but when the smoke clears, it'll be my hands that'll be raised.
After 3 long years, the war of words will be settled amidst the neon of Las Vegas, Nevada. Hagler and Hearns have descended upon Caesar's Palace to end their dispute and treat the public to the fight of the year. The hype is over, and the drama begins as we await the opening bell between 2 great champions, Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Thomas Hearns.
And we are live from Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, where Top Rank presents World Championship Boxing. It's time for the main event. It's scheduled for 12 rounds. Marvelous Marvin Hagler against Thomas Hitman Hearns. And look at this scene here. You know, the middleweight division has always been one of the most popular. The men are big enough to hurt. They're little enough to be quick, deceptive in the ring. Sugar Ray Robinson is here tonight. He's been voted the greatest middleweight champ of all time. How about the 2 old-timers? Stanley Ketchel, the Michigan assassin. Harry Greb, who fought the last part of his career with one eye. Then there was a toy bulldog, Mickey Walker, who lived on the fast track. And the smooth man from Argentina, Carlos Monzon, who defended his middleweight title 14 times, and that's the goal, the mark that Marvin Hagler is after. So there you have some of the great middleweights of all time. Gene Fulmer's here tonight, Carmen Basilio from Syracuse, and you've already met Jake LaMotta. Right now, we're going to meet the fighters themselves. We're going to see some of their highlights of their career, and we're going to hear them from the last moment now in person.
First, a look at the champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
The road to the title was frustrating for the Marvelous One. It was back on November 30th, 1979, that Hagler had his first shot at Vito Antuofermo's middleweight crown. In one of the most controversial decisions in the last decade, the fight was ruled a draw. Vito kept the belt, and Marvin walked away empty and bitter. But he used that anger almost 1 year later to fuel a vicious assault on the reigning champion, Alan Minter. Hagler had promised not to leave the decision in the hands of the judges. After 7 long years and 3 brutal rounds, Marvelous Marvin Hagler had won the middleweight title. Yet even in victory, a hostile British crowd hurled bottles rather than accolades at the new champion. With each defense, his image grew. On October 3rd, 1981, in his 3rd defense, Hagler was deadly accurate. He pitched an 11-round shutout of Mustafa Hamsho. The 55 stitches administered to the challenger have now become a grotesque reminder of Hagler's dominance. A year later, Fulgencio Oval Mejias had risen from the depths of a previous loss to the middleweight champion. This deadly right hand may have been Hagler's most devastating one-punch knockout of his career. Fully Oval would not return again. February 11th, 1983, in his 6th defense, a tough Brit, Tony Simpson, fought hard for 6 rounds. But Marvelous Marvin was just too strong. In typical Hagler fashion, the #1 challenger was beaten into the canvas. Then, on November 10th, 1983, Marvelous Marvin Hagler took on the legendary Roberto Duran. It has been said that the champion gave the challenger too much respect. But in the end, after 15 rounds, Hagler had won the unanimous decision. He had his long-awaited recognition as a dominant middleweight champion. But by not winning convincingly, Hagler had left a hint of doubt. His last defense was October 19, 1984. Remarkably, Mustafa Hamsho had returned as the #1 contender. His reward was more punishment from the champion. This time it lasted only 3 rounds as the undisputed middleweight champion, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, restored his image as one of the most powerful forces in boxing today.
No longer is he called the Motor City Cobra. He has returned as Thomas, the Hitman Hearns.
Thomas Hearns exploded from the Motor City with a ferocity rarely seen in the sport of boxing. As the WBA welterweight champion, his lethal combinations destroyed challengers like Pablo Baez. After 32 consecutive wins, a dream match had been made. The showdown of September 16, 1981 will live on as a classic. Hearns took the early lead from Sugar Ray Leonard, but in the 6th, the gutsy WBC champion had Thomas in desperate trouble. The tide had turned. Remarkably, Hearns outboxed Leonard in rounds 8 through 12. And here in the 11th, it was Leonard who was struggling to survive with a battered left eye. Then in the 14th, ahead on all 3 scorecards, Thomas Hearns had suffered his first defeat. But after climbing in weight, the Hitman bounced back. It was on February 27, 1982 that Hearns stopped a tough middleweight, Marcus Geraldo, in the first round. Geraldo had gone the distance with Hagler. And then, 9 months later, Hearns met Wilfred Benitez head-on for the WBC Super Welterweight title. The challenger pressed the defensive champion all night, picking his shots and scoring effectively. In the words of his trainer, Emanuel Stewart, he had outboxed the boxer. Hearns had also fought the later rounds with a broken right hand. But after 15 rounds, Thomas Hearns had won the majority decision. The Hitman had regained his pride and his status in boxing. 7 months later, Hearns stepped up in weight to meet a former light heavyweight contender named Murray Sutherland. Weighing 157.5 pounds, the Hitman once again proved his worth as a boxer. Sutherland later confided that he was hurt in the final round, calling Hearns a powerful middleweight puncher. Thomas called this fight a great test, stating, "It showed I belong in this division." It was hard to disagree. After crushing Duran in 2 brutal rounds, Thomas Hearns again successfully defended his WBC Super Welterweight title with a 3rd-round knockout of Fred Hutchings. The rebirth of the Hitman has struck fear in the boxing world as Thomas Hearns seeks his 3rd world title. It brings us to the fight. Both champions are peaking and both are determined.
We feel that the jab is going to be the key factor in the fight, the left hand, because we feel that if we can, once we can get Marvin to watch the left jab, get his mind on the left hand, then there will be no problem with getting other shots off.
Hearns' best defense is his offense, because that's the only way to how he knows how to fight. In my way, I have to make my defense my best offense. So, and though that I have both ways, because once I get him in trouble, I can change it around. Thomas don't have that ability.
I'm here to show the world that I have the ability to punch and power, to get in there and knock out middleweights, light heavyweights, whatever, welterweights, all the way up to the lightweight division. I have that power.
I have my mind focused on one thing, and that's to destroy him. That is to knock him out. If I have the opportunity, if it's there, I'm going to take it.
I think that this fight here will put me in the position to make greatness and put me one step closer to greatness, and which is to win the 4 titles.
That's what I feel. War. That's what's on my mind.
I don't see the fight going 12 rounds.
I've been feeding the faith, and I've been starving the doubt. So there's no doubt in my mind that I can't win this fight, or that I won't knock Thomas Hearns out.
And war is right. Hagler is still rankled at the cancellation 2 years ago by Hearns. They train differently. An old-time fighter, Hagler. He trains at Provincetown on Cape Cod. Then he went to Palm Springs and closed his workouts to the public. Hearns came into Miami Beach and then moved right in here to Caesar's Palace and had open sessions. In fact, he led Arabic dancing in the ring with 6 beauties there. It sort of reminds you of Muhammad Ali in his training days. But they're all set now. They want to get to it, and we're going to get right down to ringside to Al Michaels and Al Bernstein.
All right, Kurt. Well, everybody's been talking about it. Hearns has certain hand speed and the jab and power and all of that, and Hagler is more resolute, and there are a million different factors involved here, and that's why there's been so much talk about who will win. For each man to win, what has to happen? What's the key for each man?
I think for Thomas Hearns, he wants to establish his jab. It's very important, and be able to drop the right hand in. He thinks that he can do that against Hagler, and he thinks that he can keep Hagler on the outside by doing that. For Marvin Hagler, the key is to get by that jab, not just get by it, but get inside and then work to the body of that man, Thomas Hearns, and then eventually get to the head. I think the wild card is, will Marvin Hagler switch to righty effectively? If he does that, it might be the key to a victory for him.
As is customary, it is the challenger who enters first, since it is Hagler's title. Even though Tommy has won 2 titles, he does not own the middleweight crown that he seeks tonight, and thus he is the first to come in. And the long wait is over, as accompanied by the entourage. He is out of the dressing room and about ready to enter the arena. He's been lighthearted, basically. Kurt talking about the aerobic dancing and bringing folks into the ring and the open sparring sessions and open workouts. Quite serious right now, though, is Thomas Hearns.
And appropriately entering the ring to hail to the victors, the Michigan Fight Song.
Still not in view of most here in the arena yet is Hearns, so no response as yet, but very shortly he will be approaching that part of the arena here at Caesar's Palace just about now, where they're beginning to take notice of the entry of Thomas Hearns as he comes down the aisle.
The second time Thomas Hearns has had this kind of situation. The last time, of course, against Sugar Ray Leonard. He hopes this turns out differently.
Now he's spotted. Up the steps he comes, and into the ring he comes. Thomas Hearns. The only loss, of course, to Sugar Ray Leonard back in 1981, a fight in which he was ahead.
He had shown his boxing skills in that fight against Leonard, and many think they may come into play tonight. If Hagler would hurt him early, as Leonard did, that man, Thomas Hearns, has the speed to get on his bicycle and duplicate what he did against Leonard, at least for a certain portion of those fights. He'd like a first-round knockout here. He says he'll do it in 3. We'll see.
Took the Ram out in 2.
After the fight, we will have an interview.
Thomas Hearns
We have an IFBN.
in the ring and awaiting Marvin Hagler, who loves to, among other things, make people wait.
He is renowned, as you see, the very able corner of Thomas Hearns. And you know, when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, Al, there was criticism of Emmanuel Stewart. Normally a very calm corner for Thomas Hearns. On that night, the most pressure-packed of his career, there was some chaos in that corner. Emmanuel says, we learned from our mistakes with Leonard, and we feel we've got it all together now.
I'm curious as to the response when Hagler comes in. I thought it was sort of muted in a way. There was some cheering for Hearns, but nothing outrageous by any stretch of the imagination. Could just be a muted crowd right now. We're going to find out.
It's possible, or in fact, Hagler is the favorite of the crowd.
Yeah.
Which would be odd, considering that, as you said, the betting money is switched back and forth. And if you talk to, as I said, if you talk to any 10 people, you're going to find 5 for Hearns, 5 for Hagler. So it's been a very divided group of people here in Las Vegas, and I suspect around the country as well. Here he comes.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler, out of Newark originally, now Brockton, Massachusetts, coming in to a mixed response. theory is, for those who think Hagler will win, they say maybe this fight means a little bit more to Hagler than it does to Hearns. It means a lot, obviously, to both, but that theory goes that Marvin feels he'll never get the respect he's due unless he beats Thomas Hearns.
And he is, of course, chasing the record of Carlos Monzon, looking for the 14 consecutive title defenses. He has 10 now. He's shooting for number 11. And indeed, the response to Marvin Hagler seems to be a little bit more than Thomas Hearns.
It is. It is. A bigger hand for Hagler coming in, for what that's worth, than for the headman.
When he came in against Roberto Duran in his last big fight, it was just the opposite. So perhaps Marvin Hagler finally getting his due from boxing fans who on occasion have been indifferent to him.
Bob Arum, the promoter, called him the Pete Rose of boxing. Hard-working, resolute, single-minded, 62-2. The 2 losses early in his career, both in Philadelphia, both avenged, 50 knockouts.
And it's been a long time since he knew what the word defeat was. Only the draw with Antifermo, any kind of stain on his record in recent years. And he certainly avenged that draw. A look at the tail of the tape, it tells you what you know probably already about the big reach advantage, the height advantage for Thomas Hearns, and that's a key element in this fight. But for Marvin Hagler, he expects to get inside against Hearns, and if he doesn't do that, could have a long night.
Can he possibly win if he doesn't get inside?
Well, he could if he catches Hearns on the end of one of his punches, perhaps a left hook. I think that's where him switching righty becomes a key factor. From the outside, I think he's much more effective as a righty. The common opponents, an indication there that Hearns, perhaps with more power, but Marcus Geraldo was not the fighter he was against Hearns that he was against Hagler, and that knockout of Duran. So you can look on and on. The number of punches, these are 2 fighters who will throw a lot of punches tonight. You see Marvin Hagler throws a lot. He's got a good jab, good combination puncher. The same is true of Thomas Hearns. Look at the number of punches he throws. A lot of left jabs snaking out there.
So the pomp and ceremony still taking place. We're going to have the national anthem shortly. Al, here's the difference now. From Nevada, we go to WBC rules.
And these will change somewhat. 10-point must system still in effect. There is no 3 knockdown rule. There is no standing 8 count. You saved by the bell only in the last round. Again, the 3 judges will score the fight. International judges, the referee, or the ring doctor can stop the fight.
Right now, let's go to the ring and Chuck Hull.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would direct your attention to the lighted tower, the Fantasy Tower at Caesar's Palace, just to the northeast of us, and you will see unfurled the largest American flag in the world. The flag was created by Mr. Ski Dembski. And now it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce a very talented young man as I ask you to rise, please, as our national anthem will be presented by Doc Severinsen. Ladies and gentlemen, the color guard from the Marine Corps Reserve here in Las Vegas. Gentlemen, thank you very much. the officials assigned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for the next event of the evening. The judges are Dick Young of Los Angeles, California, Herb Santos of Reno, Nevada, and Harry Gibbs of England. The timekeeper is Charlie Roth. Counting at the knockdowns, Jane Broadfoot. The attending physicians at ringside, Doctors Donald Romeo, Flip Omansky, and Charles Filippini. Your referee for the next event of the evening is Mr. Richard Steele. This is the main event of the night. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. Introducing, in the red corner, the challenger, the WBC Super Welterweight Champion, fighting out of Detroit, Michigan, weighing 159 3/4 pounds. His professional record consists of 40 wins, 1 defeat, with 34 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Thomas the Hitman Hearns. And in the blue corner, fighting out of Brockton, Massachusetts, weighing 159 1/4 pounds, with a professional record of 60 wins, 2 defeats, 2 draws, and 50 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
All right, Pat. Good 8. Let's go.
So the two come to mid-ring with Richard Steele.
Instructions in the dressing room. I'm just cautioning you now. Obey my command at all times. Shake hands. Good luck to both of you. Let's go.
Very simple instructions. And finally, it's Hagler against Hearns.
The camera's going to have to go.
Eloquent simplicity by Richard Steele. Let's go.
He knows, they know. Staring at each other through the national anthem. To stare down, of course, so customary before these fights. And here we go. Round 1. Hagler, right off the bat, attempting to get inside. He'd love to be able to pin Hearns on the ropes if he can.
A more aggressive start by Hagler. Look at him, right for the body. Marvin Hagler only wants the body, and he bangs Marvin. Oh, Hearns may have hurt him with the right hand.
Hearns with another right. Hearns hits him with an uppercut. Hagler, he's hurt. Hagler is done. Hearns got inside. Hit him with a right uppercut. Marvin ties him up.
Marvin Hagler is still hurt.
So it was Hagler coming out like a bull, and a good left by Hagler, but Hearns didn't flinch. Marvin going for the body. Wild first round.
Wow, what a shock. And it was Hagler who initiated it, not Thomas Hearns.
And a left by Hagler. Hearns comes back. Another right. That one stunned Hearns. What a first minute of the fight.
Tommy Hearns has been able to drop that right hand in, and it has hurt Hagler, a surprise to many people.
Another right hand from Hearns. Hearns moving. Hagler still pursuing. Comes in with a right. Missing with a left hook.
Here's where I believe Hagler should turn to righty. He could block that right hand easier, and he would land his own left hook.
Hearns with a devastating punch. Swelling near Hagler's left eye. Again, Tommy trying to come inside the hands of Hagler.
Low blow by Hearns. Hagler still looking for the body.
A right by Hagler. Good right got in. He has Hearns where he'd love to keep him on the ropes, but Tommy comes off easily. Another good right by Hearns.
Hagler is now shaking those right hands off, though, Al. He was stunned a little early, and he's normally a slow starter.
He's also bleeding. Hagler is cut. Hagler is cut. Bridge of the nose.
Hagler hitting him low. He is banging the body well. He is taking shots to the head.
He blocks that right. Hearns tries to come in with the uppercut, and Hagler ties him up with a minute to go in a wild first round. Marvin with a good left hand.
There's blood all over Marvin Hagler's face. Can't tell where it's coming from.
I thought it started at the bridge of the nose originally, but blood all over the face of Hagler here in round 1. But Hagler has him on the ropes. Hagler working on him. Hagler relentless, but Hearns trying to box his way out. Half a a minute to go in round one. How far can this one go? Not very far at his pace.
This is where Hagler wants it, but Hearns counter-punching off those ropes fairly effectively.
Tremendous first round. Hagler pinning him to the rope, working on him, but Hearns uppercutting again. Hagler bloody. A tremendous, sensational first round, and Hearns gets hurt. Hearns got stunned. Hagler was stunned early in the round. Great first round.
Wow.
Incredible.
Perhaps one of the best in middleweight history.
That was an entire fight encompassed in 3 minutes.
Where is it? Right there, no problem. Don't worry about the gun, man. Close your eyes, close your eyes. Get the towel. Drink the water right now, Pat.
The cut is over the right eye of Marvin Hagler. It's hard to tell if it's not on the eyelid, though. It looks to be on his forehead. That may not be as much of a problem. As we look at it, that was where it came, I believe, from that uppercut from Tommy Hearns. That was early in the round, but now later, Marvin Hagler digging to the body and throwing a right hook. Fought most of that round, in fact, all of it as a southpaw. He took the action of Hearns, a surprise early.
Well, the first round lived up to all the hype, and then some. Round two now.
Oh!
Left hand by Hagler.
They said this fight would be determined on heart and the good chin. Right now, that's exactly what it's being determined on. Both men have been hurt. You can throw the strategy out the window right now.
A wild first round. Hearns again trying to uppercut. Hearns trying to box. Moving, slipping off the ropes. Coming back and trying to land that right.
They are yelling, keep boxing, Tommy, from his corner, and that looks like what he's going to try and do in this fight.
Hearns off balance. His foot was stepped on, not close to a knockdown.
Excuse me, Al. Hagler turns righty. I think this could be a key moment in this fight.
For the first time, Hagler switching, gets in with a left hand. This round sort of the way people anticipated the first round might go. Another right hand stuns Hearns. The crowd, of course, emphatic over every punch that's thrown. Hagler, despite that reach disadvantage, has been able to get into Hearns more so than I think most people expected.
For one simple reason, good left hook by Hagler. He took the best Hearns could offer, and he did come in. He's getting through that right hand, even though he's getting hit with it.
Halfway through round two.
Hagler has fought most of this round as a righty. Now he switches southpaw and lands. Not as effective as a righty as I thought, but now as a southpaw, the jab lands well.
That right jab. Hagler coming in with a left. Richard Steele saying, punch your way out, punch your way out.
A key element now is Hagler is working when he's on the inside. He's not just holding, he is working the body of Tommy Hearns. Boy, Hearns looks awkward. His legs look like they're not there.
A little rubbery here in round two. Tommy, though, fluid and moving. Trying to get inside again. The cut opens up over Hagler's forehead. And the blood begins to trickle down. Hagler working inside, now up top. Half a minute to go in round two.
What a left.
Hearns trading with him. Hagler comes back to the right, a left, and another right. He has Hearns in trouble on the ropes. Tommy trying to punch his way off the ropes. Hagler wants to keep him there, goes to the body.
Hagler throws low blows. Marvin Hagler wants to turn this into an alley war, and he's got another low blow. Richard Steele may take points away soon, but will it matter?
Second round coming to an end. Hagler bloody, but very much unbound. End of round two.
Keep your hands up. Look, when you finish up with your shot, move on to one side or the other, okay? You're not boxing to be out here. Try to work on letting you miss with the left and going over here and then coming back with the right, okay? You got to cut up there. Shut up. Let's box him. Stay away and box him. Let's box him. Let's get your second win and relax like nothing in it with Colin Jones. Let's think. careful. This boxer, when you get through with your shot, move off to one side or the other. You're getting hit on tail end punches. You understand?
You can hear Manny Stewart talking to Hearns. They work on the cut of Hagler.
And the Petronelli's good cut men. Goody and Pat have done an excellent job on the cuts of Hagler. What a shock that that man initiated this war right from the beginning. And you know what? I thought he would do well as a righty. He has done better as a southpaw, and he may stay at that.
Again, Stewart telling Hearns to box. As you say, though, Hagler turning it into a street fight.
Well, he turns righty. He wants it to be a street fight. Listen, Marvin Hagler has been rough inside. He's thrown some low blows. He has thrown some elbows.
Don't push.
But you know what? Now the right is getting there, but it's not hurting Hagler. We've got our answer, I think, to some extent. Tommy has been hard-pressed to hurt him with that right. Stunned him early, but not in the last round or two.
Very early. Had him stunned, has him cut. But it was Hagler doing the damage in round 2.
And now, just as we thought might happen, Tommy Hearns was hurt early, so he is boxing. Now, he has good boxing skills. He did this against Sugar Ray. Can Hagler get to him in this posture?
Some people thought, as he again becomes off balance, some thought that if Hearns stayed outside and stayed on his bicycle, it would become a dull fight with Marvin chasing him.
But Marvin has been able to corner him, and when Marvin gets him in the corner, he is roughhousing him well.
Again, Hagler is all bloodied. Time is called by Richard Steele to send Hagler over to the ring doctor. He's calling the ring doctor in. Of course, the last thing in the world Hagler wants is the fight to be stopped. The doctor looks at it. Back comes Hagler with a wild left hand. It has to be impeding his vision with the right eye. You never know it, though. Tremendous right. Hearns appears rubbery. He appeared that way in the second round.
You know, Richard Steele is breaking these fighters very quickly. That's uncharacteristic of him. It's hurting Hagler because he wants to work inside. Hearns is smiling, but he's taking shots.
Another right hand. Hearns turns his back, takes another right. Hearns in deep trouble again. Hearns is down. Hearns is down in the third round and on his back. And he's not going to beat the count. I don't believe. Tommy Hearns tries to get up, and
They've got to stop this fight.
Does he get up? He just doesn't know. He can't continue. It's Hagler, full of blood. Blood, no doubt, impeding his vision, stopping him in the third round after Hearns almost ended it on a first-round knockout. It didn't go very far, but it was a beauty.
And Tommy Hearns predicted a knockout in the third. Instead, it is Marvin Hagler, and we certainly hope Tommy Hearns will be all right. He is still wobbly. What a shock. Instead of Hearns initiating early action, it is this man who, believe me, has gained any redemption he needed from the loss to Roberto Duran.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So close to being knocked out in the first round. Withstood the barrage. You'd have to figure he lost round 1, came back round 2, despite the deep cut, time called by Richard Steele in round 3. Ring doctor observes, comes back, knocks him out in round 3. So it's marvelous Marvin Hagler, 61, 2-2. Another look as we watch it at the end. Hagler with that right hand, that lunging right hand. Hearns turning his back on him, and then you'll see Hagler come in and deliver a right to the side of the head. Hearns backing off again, taking the right hand. Legs gone at that point. Down on his back, got up at the count of 10. That was the end of it. Different angle. Hearns, whose legs became rubbery in the second round, having trouble with his balance in round 3. Turning his back. Another right hand from Hagler. But at this point, the damage had been done. Finishing right there. But Hearns was on his way down anyway. Only disappointment is that it didn't go longer. What a 3 rounds. Different angle again now. Right hand from Hagler. And Hearns at that point finished. Off balance and stumbling. And so the man from Brockton, Massachusetts may finally get the respect that he feels he deserves. And acclaim as one of the greatest middleweights in history. Doing nothing to dispute that tonight. Shaking off some thunderous blows in round 1. withstanding the barrage, suffering the cut, coming back strong in round 2, finishing them in round 3. Hearns right above us in the corner. Tommy still shaking, Tommy on his stool. And Tommy, of course, very disappointed and frustrated as Marvin Hagler, marvelous Marvin Hagler, the legal name, retains the undisputed middleweight title. And let's go to Al Bernstein now.
Marvin Hagler in a chaotic ring here. He says, am I the greatest? And I guess so, Marvin. Marvin, it was, I guess, perhaps one of the best 3-round fights ever, maybe one of the best middleweights. I guess you did. Here comes Tommy Hearns to say congratulations.
Tommy, we gave him a hell of a show. They got their money worth.
All right, we're happy to see that Tommy's all right. And a lot of congratulations all around and a lot of water as well. Marvin, you took the action to Tommy right away. You went right for his body. He looked like he stunned you momentarily with the right in the first. Did that right hurt you?
It didn't bother me, it just made me madder.
Okay.
I told you I was going to eat him up like Pac-Man. I figured once I get through the right hand, then it was all mine, you know, because I think the first big one, which you tried to put me away out there, and I think that's when I got the cut there, but I wanted to show the world I am the greatest now.
Well, you are the greatest middleweight. There's no doubt about that.
Did I say 3?
You went right for the body. Was that your plan immediately?
That was the way we planned. I want to thank all my sparring partners. Especially I want to thank God for giving me the strength and the courage and the confidence to go in here and to know that I was the one. I was the champion, but I had to fight like a challenger.
That fight, I think, took tremendous courage on your part for this reason. You walked right in against the cannon. You were willing to take the right hand to knock him out.
You got it. I figured I had to take punches or to give some, but I told you he was going to get some too.
This was, in some ways, not like the Marvin Hagler we've often seen. Not the ring technician. You bombed.
That's it. That's what I felt. I felt as though in every one of my fights I've been fighting, I improved, and I put it all together in this fight.
The Petronelli's here. I guess you've got to be just thrilled with this. Probably your biggest moment.
The greatest. There's this guy. Does he? Now that we take care of the wise guys, the hurt man, the hit man. We love him.
I want to say to all the people out there who spent their money, I hope that you got your money's worth, because Tommy's a hell of a fighter, and I think I put all my all out here. But the better man won tonight.
You have talked about going after Monzone's record. Is it still on your mind? And I guess this just fuels you. Getting that record might put you in that class of the greatest middleweight.
Definitely. I'm still after Monzone's record, but I don't think that I'll have a big media hype as I did with this one, so I'm going to continue. Okay. This is one of my toughest fights.
Marvin, congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Kurt Gowdy.
There's been a lot of talk about Hagler retiring. His wife, Bertha's here. There are 4 children, and she wants him to retire. When they ask...
Ladies and gentlemen,
let's go down.
Referee Richard Steele stops the bout at 2 minutes, 1 second of the 3rd round. The winner by a TKO and still undisputed middleweight champion of the world, marvelous Marvin Hagler.
So official at 2:01 round 3. Hagler saying he hopes everybody got their money's worth. It was a great 8 minutes. It was a great 8:01.
It was an incredible fight, and for Marvin Hagler, I'll tell you what, he did the unexpected, Al. He walked right into the cannons that Tommy Hearns had. He said, I'm going to take what I have to take in order to bomb my way to victory. It was uncharacteristic, but it was exciting, and it was a man looking to gain ultimate respect from the boxing community.
I found it fascinating in a way that you said to him, were you hurt? When we sit here at ringside, and I don't know, sometimes it's a little distorted on television, you knew he was hurt when Hearns hit him, and yet he said, no, it just made me mad, but you knew he was hurt.
I think he was certainly stunned in any case, and I think the fact of the matter is that he was not hurt to the point where Marvin Hagler goes down. Well, Marvin Hagler just doesn't go down. This is a man with such incredible grit and such courage. I just don't think you can say enough about that, because he went in against a very good puncher, welterweight, junior middle, or middle, took the best he could offer, and just his determination and heart won it.
Some thought that he would take Hearns' best shot and leer at him or grin at him. He certainly didn't do that. He was stunned by it, but he was able to withstand it, win the second round, knock him out in the third. Okay, Kurt, so Teddy Brenner, who has seen a few fights in his time, seen 3 of the greatest rounds of boxing, little doubt about it. And since this one ended early, we can go back.